Hey, you know what we haven't done for a while, and I know our audience is craving
What?
a gear talk
Oh, okay.
because our numbers have, I'd noticed our numbers have been down just a little. We've got more followers. We're up to eight, whatever, 40 something. But I think their attention span on us babbling on about vision and celibacy, they're getting bored. So let's talk about your backup strategy, Cole, because I think people are incredibly anxious to know what your backup strategy. I think they are, seriously. I've had people in tours go, what's Cole's backup strategy?
You know, it does amaze me how many times I'll hear some photographer bemoaning their computer crashed and they've lost all their images. Today, after this horse has been beat to death, we still have people who lose their images.
That's
So I'm
mind-boggling to me.
going to ask three questions that will help you analyze if you have a proper backup strategy. What would happen if your hard drive failed and you lost everything on it? Okay, just in your mind, are you good on that one or not? What if your house burned down and everything was lost? Again, answer in your mind, would you be okay or not? And three, what if you opened up one of your favorite images? Let's say it was a TIFF file, and you realized the last time you opened it, like 6 months ago, you had been preparing a JPEG to send to a friend. You lowered the resolution, you put it down to 96 DPI and 1,000 pixels wide, and you accidentally, when you closed it, you saved it.
Yeah,
Would you be okay or not?
yeah,
So,
great
based on
questions.
those three questions,
Yeah.
that's what we'll talk about backup strategy. Now,
So
go ahead.
so I'll pretend to be the person answering. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, that's not a far stretch for the type of person I'm looking for here. John, what would happen if you lost your hard drive? Would you be
Well,
okay?
I'd be okay because for me, in my home, I have a time machine backup, which is an Apple deal. So every whatever you want, every hour, the first time it goes through and makes a complete backup of your entire system, a complete copy of system and all of your data. And then any incremental things that are done, it's going to back those up every hour. And I have an array of drives where there's a time machine drive in there. And then I also have a carbon copy cloner that gets done once a week. So that way I know that I
So if
have
you're
two extra copies. So I have the original and then two
okay,
backup
yeah.
copies.
So if your hard drive fails, you have a backup.
I have two backups, actually.
What if your house burned down and everything was lost?
Well, I've thought about that, Cole. I'd lose those, all three drives would be gone. So my original data would be gone, my time machine backup would be gone, and my carbon copy cloner would be gone, and I'd be screwed.
Okay,
So,
so
so what I've done is I have paid $100 a year to use Backblaze. And I have Backblaze, which is a cloud-based service. Like I said, $100 a year, and it's unlimited. I have probably 12 to 14 terabytes of information out on my Backblaze so that if my house burns down, I've always got that backup that I can go get.
now for people who have a detached garage, another option would be you do a weekly backup and you keep your drive out in the garage.
Yeah.
I have heard some people say they have a safe deposit box. I don't think that's a very practical way because you're not going to be weekly going and getting your hard drive and adding new images. So a cloud-based backup or a drive physically detached from your home's good. Okay,
Yes.
third scenario. You
I
go
don't,
to open that favorite file and you realize that 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago, you saved it as a TIFF, but it was the low resolution version. How do you stand?
the only thing I can do there is I can go back and find my original image and start all over again. No, well, I take that back. If my time machine is up to date and goes back far enough, I can go find that original image. That's the beauty of Time Machine. But let's just, for the sake of this argument, because I think I might not be doing this correctly based on that question, because I've not thought about this. I think I would have to go back to either my time machine, my carbon copy cloner, or if the house burned down scenario, go out to Backblaze, get that image, and I'd have to start all over from scratch, which would not be the best situation.
Yeah, no, that, and I've had this happen to me, and I think that's why we saw maybe two versions of Go in Photoshop. They added save as a copy.
Ah,
Save as no longer will let you do something stupid like that. But what I've done, and I know this is probably impractical for most people, but my one folder of my final favorite images is backed up daily, weekly, monthly, every 3 months, every 6 months, and every year. So
huh.
I have, in a sense, a 1 year buffer to find an error and go back and
Oh,
fix it.
okay. I don't know if I completely do that again. So you've made a daily that's separate from the weekly, that's separate from the monthly. Okay, got it. So those are all, and every one of those is not going to be a backup of the other one. It's a separate backup. It's cumulative as it goes on.
And so what happens is they are located here, but those are then all uploaded to Backblaze. So I have a year to find a stupid error and correct it.
Got it.
And I
That's
do have my raw images. I could always go back to my raw image. I wouldn't like to, but
no, no. There's another show.
what? Backblaze?
No, going back, I mean, I wonder what would happen is if you took one of your images from, and it's got to be some time, 15 years ago, and I was able to go pick whatever image I wanted of yours from 15 years ago, not allow you to see what you ever did with it, and just say, Cole, here's what something from your catalog 15 years ago. I want you to process it. And then I would bring up the original process version and compare those. That would be rather interesting.
Well, there's two issues there. The first is, would I remember my vision from the original image? I
Maybe.
think I would.
Okay.
But the more important question is, has my vision changed? And might I like it different now? But I
That's where
know that I could reproduce those pretty darn close, every one of my images.
really, okay.
Absolutely certain of that.
Interesting. Okay. Because in my mind, I was thinking about discussions we've had where we are maturing every year, we grow every year mentally and so forth. And so our vision is morphing all the time. So it would be rather interesting if all of a sudden you wanted something darker or lighter or removed or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've gotten off track here. But the main point of this is
Have
it,
some strategy.
yeah, because once again, leading tours, it boggles our mind that people, Roxanne, will, will not have a backup strategy in place. And it just scares us to death because I don't know about you. I don't know if you had to have a catastrophic thing happen, but I blew a motherboard, which fried my drives. I lost everything on a Mac Pro.
Wow.
And thank goodness I had a time machine drive. But it was at that moment when I realized, holy cow, this is so freaking important because I was that close to losing everything.
If nothing else, people should do two things: have a physical backdrop and have a Backblaze. Or I upload three places to the cloud. I go
Interesting.
to iCloud, I go to Backblaze, and I go to, I think, Google.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably a little OCD, but I just figure. And Backblaze is so simple because once you set it up the first time, you never look at it or touch it again.
Super easy. Yeah, not that hard to set up. If you're going to use Backblaze and we get nothing, I'm not an affiliate for them, but I use them. Just pay attention to which drives are being backed up. That's all. Sometimes I've helped people set theirs up and they haven't set up that external drive to be included in the backup routine. So all of the precious images are on external drives, not on my working hard drive for the computer. So hope,
And the nice thing about Backblaze is if your drive fails, you can pay, I don't know, a couple $100
yep,
and they overnight you a hard drive.
yep,
Because
yep.
if you had to download the number of terabytes
It'll
that
be
I've done,
months.
yeah.
No, you would pay the 200 or 300 bucks and you'd have your data and you'd be
Yeah.
rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I'm
Okay.
sure this is going to get a ton of comments and a ton of likes and be more important than wait a minute, than your 5 techniques for simplification.
Add 5 surefire
Oh,
tech.
that's right. I got to do 5
Surefire.
surefire. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
All right. Good stuff, bud.
See ya.